Yeah.
There we go.
Slide that thing over.
All right. So we're going to talk about this pre-con. We've got a meet and greet tomorrow. This is a social event at Urban Air here in Meridian. They've got a corporate space. It's actually an enormous corporate space that they are sponsoring us with. And then we're going to be providing free pizza to our attendees until we run out.
Right.
I need to make that distinction.
Yep. we aren't going to call Domino's right in the middle of this thing. So,
well, no, this is all made in-house at Urban Air. They've got
what I'm saying is we're not ordering more.
We're not getting more. No. They've promised us pizza for about 30 people. So,
that's awesome.
And I know not everybody will eat. I know it's in the afternoon. So 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon at Urban Air here in Meridian. And if you don't know where Urban Air is, let me come back here. It's on Lanark Street, and that is behind the Big RC Willie and the DeMeyer Furniture Complex over there. Mm-hmm. If you've been to the Amazon hub lockers over there, that's right next to Urban Air.
Yep. It's easy to find.
It is easy to find. And I need to check with them today. When you come in the front door, you can go straight and come right up the stairs to the second floor, or you can take the elevator to the second floor, and then I'm gonna come to a wide camera view because I need to emphasize this. You're gonna walk all the way to the other end of the building upstairs.
So first down.
It's all the way to the other end of this huge building. All right, because we're at the far end from where you come in at. But it's going to be a good event tomorrow. Yeah. We're doing some
all things convention. You can come and learn a little bit about PPA if you want. We'll have a table there with some material on it. Headshots for our convention goers. It's just going to be a good time.
So let me explain the purpose of this.
Okay.
The initial idea was that because we are running a hybrid convention this year, we want our in-person attendees and our remote attendees to know who's there. So we're going to build a slideshow of attendee bios and headshots and probably some of their work. Mm-hmm. So we've got like 3 weeks to pull this off, get all this data in. And so what tomorrow's event is, because I had a few folks reach out to me and they're like, I have no idea what to say in a bio for this, and I don't have a headshot. I'm like, that's fine. The good news I know a guy that does headshots.
And the good news is you don't have to know any of that stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
So we've got Leah Southwick is going to be running a bio help station, biography help station, and she'll help you write your bio. And we're not looking for fluffy, sparkly unicorn bios.
Yeah. Don't care where you went to grade school.
Yeah. So the bio is going to look a lot like, where do you live? How long have you been using a camera? How long have you been interested in photography?
What's your interest?
And what do you love to photograph?
Yeah.
Right? And then maybe a couple of your favorite pieces.
Yeah.
I've got a buddy, Vince, who is not, I guess you would say he's not a professional photographer. He shoots on our photography team for our church, which is a huge organization.
It is.
He's shooting for other people, right? He's got a couple of pieces that we've looked at together that are just fantastic. So that's what I'm looking for. Like whatever your favorite pieces are, we're going to handle your bio and your headshot with you tomorrow, and you'll have an email address. You can send a couple of pictures in. We'll marry all that up into a slideshow, and we'll have that running both in the live stream and at convention.
And then guess what?
And what?
You can use that bio anytime you want to on your website, all kinds of stuff. So
there's a hook there, right?
There's a hook.
There's a hook. Yep. And the hook is you show up, eat pizza, have fun, network with photographers,
get a headshot bio,
get a headshot and get a bio.
Yep.
And guess what? You've
registered for convention if you haven't.
Yours. Yeah, that's a biggie.
Yeah.
We want you to come to convention. That's part of it. I want you to meet your PPI professionals. I want you to meet your photographers that are behind Professional Photographers of Idaho. I want you to meet our members and have an opportunity to chat. All right, so that's our pre-con promo. I'm going to punch that slide up one more time. Pre-con promo! Meet and greet.
Saturday, 3/13 from 1 to 4.
Yeah, very good stuff. All right, so our next thing is, I'm really excited about this too.
Me too.
We've got a guest coming on today. I'm going to skip that slide. We're going to go right to this one. We've got a guest coming on today. He's actually on Zoom with us right now, and we'll bring him on in just a moment. Bryan, you can hear us okay?
Yes.
I can see you over on the other monitor over there. So good. Bryan Welsh is going to be joining us today. He is one of our speakers at convention, and he is also our jury chair for our image competition.
Correct.
And this is an awesome opportunity to have him tell a little bit about who he is, more about who he is and what he does. So with that, I'm going to bring you up full screen, Bryan. You are live now.
Excellent.
Yep. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your background?
Perfect. By the way, it sounds like I should drive to Idaho, come to the pizza place. You know, in my bio, I don't say what grade school I went to, but nice. I went to Brookwood. I'm a Brookwood Bobcat, in case anybody has a trivia quiz that they need to know about. But I'm excited to be part of Idaho's convention. It's been in the making for a couple of years. And so we get to do it, and eventually I'll come over too and see you guys in person when that is allowed. So thank you for having me today. A little bit of background on me. The funny thing is, people will say, how long have you been in the industry? And I can either answer that with 40 years because I'm second generation. I used to sleep under my dad's darkroom table. So I've been around PPA and around the industry for 40 years. And I've been professional myself for, I guess it's now 21 years. So just a little bit of time. And I photographed a little bit of everything. Over the years, we started out a lot of families, weddings, high school seniors. It was my mom, dad, sister, and I, so family business. Currently, it's just me. My parents have passed away, and so I focus mostly on business headshots and families and high school seniors. And so it's a lot of fun. And then you probably have seen I do a lot of speaking and judging in the PPA world, so that keeps me busy also.
I read in your bio that you've got over 200 PPA speaking merits.
Yeah, and I need to update that. It's up to 250 now, so
that's extraordinary.
That's awesome. Yeah.
I am just starting down the road in PPA in terms of gathering my merits. Actually, I've been doing the Super One Day workshops for probably close to 8 years. So I've got a lot that I've built up, but this convention is my first speaking at a state convention. I'm excited about that. Tell us a little bit about your topic for our convention.
Yeah, so this is a fun one. This is a program called the Marketing Riddle. And the way I kind of think about marketing is people think that there's an answer, one way to do marketing that's going to be successful. And it's really a riddle, or another way to kind of think about it is it's a scavenger hunt or a treasure map. And you have to do the work, and there's obstacles and pitfalls along the way. And the key, though, and not to give away too much right now, but the key is you have to make it fun. If it's not fun, we won't do it, right?
That's for sure.
Boy, no kidding.
Something else. So I am a big fan of how our brain works. I study neuroscience on the side. And if we can trick our brain to making things fun and then believe it, obviously, we'll do the work, and then we'll see the rewards. The rewards will make us more energized to do the work. And pretty soon we're doing marketing. Our business is thriving. We get to photograph more because we actually have clients hiring us. It's this whole ecosystem. So it's called the Marketing Riddle.
I'm really looking forward to having you tell me how I can make marketing fun.
See, exactly.
I do most of my marketing
right there.
I do most of my marketing through in-person business-to-business networking, and I enjoy that very much. And we're really starting to finally come back to that. And I don't know about you folks out on the coast, but here in Idaho, we're starting to open some of those things up, and that's good. I really enjoy that. But there's a lot of the marketing riddle that I don't yet enjoy. So maybe you've got some tips on that for us.
Well, and in my case, I'm actually changing completely from what
you're shifting gears.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to it because I'm like ground zero almost.
So Bryan, our president, Jen Alvey, says, "Yay, Bryan, we're excited to finally have you a part of our convention." And another gal, LaQuita Myers, says, "Really looking forward to this."
Bob Quick, Quick is watching with us. Says, "Hi, Bryan Welsh. Great seeing you. Miss your mom and dad." So
yeah.
Bob's a great guy.
I'm glad Bob's going to give us a run for our money. I think I saw the other day he entered our competition.
That's
so
good stuff.
Yeah,
that's good stuff. Bryan, I'm going to come back to you full screen here. I've had you picture in picture for a minute. Tell me a little bit, if you would, about the one thing that folks need to come to convention for.
Wow. That's hard when you say one thing, because it's kind of like when a photographer says, hey, just one more, let me just take one more shot. And you put a whole nother roll of film through the camera, or, the buffer fills up. I would say probably the number one thing is getting those pieces of inspiration that's going to jumpstart you in this new normal. It's almost like the term, we know how to ride the bike. We know how to do what we do, but things are different now. And we're going to have to rethink things. We're going to have to come up with new game plans. We're going to have to be strategic. One thing that you guys kind of mentioned, and again, this is hard when you're a speaker, you can elaborate on anything, but you guys kind of talked about how you're reinventing yourself, or you're going a new way. And I think that's exciting, because we have permission. We just are coming out of a pandemic. Everything is possible now. Things that we didn't know we could do, like these kind of live calls, these kind of Zoom interfaces. We didn't know we had this tech. We knew we had the technology. We didn't know we could use it so well.
I certainly didn't know how to do this
5 minutes ago. No,
a year ago. It was a year ago, April, that I took over this weekly broadcast. And I was given the broadcast on a Wednesday, like, hey, I'm out. Can you take over? And Thursday, I learned how to use OBS. It was coarse. It was rough. Friday, we did a live. It was just 2 people on a Zoom call. It was a few months before we got out of that stay-at-home order, and then we moved into having some people in person. And you came on board. Bryan, one of the things that you said just now really resonates with me. Going into March of last year, I had a commercial studio in downtown Meridian. I had 6 shooting bays. It wasn't a huge space, but it was more than adequate. I do commercial headshots. That's all I do. On a Monday morning, when the stay-at-home order hit, all of my commercial work canceled for March, April, and May, and that turned into June and July. And in that 3-hour period where all of my work canceled, I made the decision to close the commercial space, drop the overhead, and move the operation home. In a week's time following that, we did just that. We completely moved out of that space, completely built and moved into a new space here. It's a 3rd-car garage that has turned into a dedicated studio, and it's pretty neat.
Oh, it's awesome.
It's a really cool space. But you said, we've got permission now, and that's exactly what I've experienced. I had one of my C-suite clients sitting on the stool having his picture taken, and he kind of looks around for a minute, and he goes, "This is bitching." I'm like, thanks, man. I really needed to hear that. Like, I needed to hear that from my C-suite clientele, that it's okay that I'm working out of my garage now.
Well, and I think you hit on another thing, that phrase that we've used before, the new normal. And it's stunning that actually, it's kind of stunning it took a pandemic to bring this about. But it did, really. And it's a new normal. I can sit and chat with somebody in Oregon like they're right here.
Yeah.
Not that we don't want to see them in person. We miss the physical interaction, obviously, but just think of the doors it opens up.
We wouldn't have had this opportunity to have Bryan on here 2 years ago. I mean, we just wouldn't have gone this way.
Awesome stuff, Bryan.
And I think that this is here to stay.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I think this is a part of, I don't think we're going to be like, okay, that was that, and now we're. No, I think, so we were talking convention stuff. Yep. And Bryan, this is probably our last point. We'll let you go. You've been really generous with your time this morning while we figured out how to get your Zoom feed into our OBS. So we're doing convention hybrid this year, right?
Yep.
We're going to have in-person attendees, and we're going to have some folks from all around the country participating in convention. But I don't think this is a this year thing. I think this is a model for moving forward and just, with these conventions.
Just think, if you're a PPA member, you can go on their website, you can see who's having events, and you can see their speaker lineup, and you can say, oh, I want to see.
I need to catch that.
I want to see XYZ. I'm going to go to Florida's convention, or whoever it is. We're in Idaho, so I'm going to go see, I don't know, Connecticut's convention. They're about as far away from us as you can get.
Yeah.
So what an opportunity if you want to learn from somebody that you really want to hear, rather than get on the plane, fly to Connecticut, do all that stuff. So a few of us in our organization here this week got the results back from our CPP testing, and we've earned our CPPs. Yep. And that's I'm super stoked about it. But I don't think that I would have taken that leap this year. I've been looking at the CPP program for 7 years. I've bought the books, I've done the studying, but I never took the step. But it was the Imaging USA that was virtual, and it allowed me to get the content that I needed to give me the confidence to jump into this thing. I got to say, imaging, PPA and imaging was pretty awesome this year. I mean, where else could you go and literally watch everything? Well, and to bring that full circle back to Bryan. Yeah, exactly. Yep. Is we're using that model here. And Bryan, it's just great to have you here. The comments that we're seeing on our feed right now, Jason McAdams, one of our local guys, he says, I'd love to hear more from Bryan about what he does. So why don't we give you an opportunity to tell us a little bit more about the things that you do, the type of things maybe to speak about, your favorite things to photograph, and then maybe give us a sign off, and we'll move on and let you go for the day. How's that sound?
That sounds perfect. It sounds perfect. And I just want to kind of piggyback on how we have this permission, right? So one of the interesting things, this marker in the sand, so to speak, this 1 year, previous to the pandemic, I was flying all around the country. I did 20 different conventions. I was on the East Coast more than the West Coast. But now it's interesting, on like a 3-day stretch last week, I was in Vermont, New Hampshire, and Connecticut and South Carolina all in 1 week, and didn't have to leave my house. So that is kind of interesting, just how all this technology is going to work. So kind of my business, one of the things that I love is, basically helping people with their most important problem. And so I think of myself as a creative and a small business owner as much as a photographer. And so one of the things I'm always asking people is, how can I serve them? And I use photography, right, to serve them. And so my goal isn't necessarily just to be a photographer, but it's, how can I help my community? How can I help the small businesses in my community? How can I create legacy for families? And so that's really where my heart is. I just happen to use photography to make that happen. Of course, I love to photograph all kinds of different things. At one point in time, I thought I was going to be an architect. Actually, if you read my yearbook, I was going to be an attorney. And then I switched to architecture, and then fell in love with marketing. And that's really where my background kind of was before I came into the family business. And now the way I kind of look at it is, photography studios really are an advertising agency or a marketing agency. And photography, again, is the way that the vehicle that I use to do my work. But so architecture, I think, lines and angles and things that are graphic have always been interesting to me. My kind of career in image competition has been a little bit of this and that, but lately I've been doing more stylized portraits, so really getting into the lighting and just kind of those nuances. And I'm throwing my hat in the ring, so to speak, and starting to put together a case for the artist category, and going down that rabbit hole and journey and making it fun. I've kind of got the photography side of it, the headshots and all that is pretty plug and play. So I'm excited about the artist category, where I get to probably express, some of my ideas that are conceptual. And so I get to play again. And I guess that's going to be a common theme. Even when we were setting up this Zoom call and getting the tech, I kind of talked about how we have to make it fun. I have a heavy dose of trying to make things a game. I'm competitive, and so if it's a game, I'm going to try and figure it out and win. And so that's a big part of, I think, why the artist category is intriguing to me. It's super challenging to me, right? And so I'm excited about that.
That's really exciting.
Awesome.
I think the whole kind of stepping outside your box and moving into something different is a big part of who we are as photographers. I mean, if you're pushing your envelope and pushing your skills and pushing your equipment, you're going to find that place where maybe you suck at something, right? Yeah. And it's okay. Like, it's okay to not be good at something if you're pushing the envelope, because that gives you an opportunity to.
But going down that path, you might find something like, whoa, I really like this.
Yeah, or you build those skills, or you take those classes and you learn from your peers, and suddenly you're good at something new again. And that's fun. I mean, that's fun for me. I really enjoy that process. And I think that's part of what the CPP process gave to me, was something fun again to jump into with both feet. I'm working on my photographic craftsman. I'm working on my Idaho Fellow. And that all is fun for me again, as I'm developing new skills and trying to get those merits where I need them to fill in those spaces. Bryan, it's 22 after. You've been on with us for a long time now, and I really appreciate your time. I'm looking forward to having you on with us at our convention, and looking forward to seeing what you bring to that conversation. Yeah,
me too, Bryan. Thanks so much. And I really appreciate all the knowledge and stuff you give to the PPA affiliates. That was a great meeting on Facebook, I don't know, last month or whatever it was, and still trying to digest some of that stuff. There was so much going on. So it was awesome, though. Thanks for coming on board, and looking forward to seeing you on the 9th or 10th, I guess it is. Yeah,
well, he'll be on for the 9th. He's the jury chair.
Oh, that's right.
And then he'll be speaking over the weekend, too.
I'm putting some actual images in it. Can I bribe you?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think you need to bribe. I think you just need to cajole, right? Okay. Anyway, Jason McAdam, this is the last thing I'm going to shout at you, Bryan. I'm going to let you go, I promise. I'm a talker, by the way, which probably is why we're standing here. But Jason says, where can I find you on Instagram?
My Instagram is Bryan Welsh _IG.
That's pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
So, any other spaces that you want to be found in?
You could go to my website, which is mitportraits.com. That's a great place. There's at the bottom you could see my Facebook and Instagram. Connect with me on Facebook. Send me a message. If there's a specific thing in marketing that maybe your burning question, send me a message on Facebook, and you never know, it might pop up in my program.
Nice. Very good. Bryan, thanks for your time.
Thanks so much, Bryan.
Of course. Take care.
Wow, what a great opportunity.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah. We are well into our program today, so I'm going to bring our topic slide into play, and we'll roll right into this. Okay. You ready?
I'm ready.
I'm ready. You ready? I'm ready. Okay, so our conversation today is about mods, man. Mods. And this is near and dear to both of us. I think we both really enjoy, I guess you could call this hacking in a way.
I'd like to call it creative thinking on the fly.
Well, so let's talk about this fly thing, because I mentioned this before we got going. This is my caveat to mods, okay? I never mod in the field. And by mod, I mean, I'm never going to cut something off or cut something up or cut a notch in something or physically change something.
Unless it's just a little bend or a tweak.
In the field, before I've given time to maybe solve the problem a different way. That isn't to say, because you mentioned duct tape earlier, and I'm like, duct tape can solve a lot day one on a job site out of state. I traveled for a job at a winery. We're out in the vineyard. We're miles out into this vineyard, and the sun is just starting to come over the mountain range that surrounds this incredible vineyard. This was an incredible moment, right? And the center column on my tripod crapped. So what do, right? I raised that column where I needed it. I dropped an A clamp onto it. I always carry these. I carry blue tape, I carry gaff tape, I carry duct tape, and I carry A clamps of different sizes.
I don't carry the gaff tape because it's too expensive. I just use the blue tape I
use blue tape a lot.
Yeah. Blue tape and the duct tape. Those are, and these things are 99 cents or Harbor Freight.
Buckets of these, right?
Yeah, it's.
I've got them all over the place. I've got them in just about all of my bags.
He does,
and I've got them hanging here in the studio. Yeah. But that's my caveat. Like, I'm not going to try and fix this tripod thing in the field, I bypassed it and moved on. But that brings me to the point of when I got back, instead of trashing that tripods ain't cheap, brother.
Right.
Right.
Yep.
Instead of trashing this $300 and some odd tripod, I knocked the retention device for the center column. I literally knocked that out of the tripod. I tapped it with my tap and die set, and I put a new screw in with a handle on it, and it's awesome.
It's perfect now.
It works great.
Yeah. Well,
it's ugly.
It doesn't matter. It works.
It's not super ugly.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's the kind of thing that works, and it's a mod, right?
Yeah.
I can't show you because it's holding one of my cameras right now.
So, and there's different types. I was telling Bob earlier that I've been doing some work, photographic work, and I needed an overhead light, and I don't have a ceiling mount. So I went and got a brand new, which brand new to me because I just ordered it, a boom arm holder, one that has the angles on it. It's heavy duty, and that's why I bought it. It's because it's heavy duty. And so I put that on my tripod. I went over to get the boom arm. Guess what? The holder was an inch hole. And the boom arm was a 3/4 inch boom arm. So that didn't work very well. Mm-hmm. So I'm kind of wondering what to do, a little disgusted, going to walk outside, and there lies some plastic pipe that I used to repair my sprinkler system with last year. Guess what? The boom arm fits exactly inside the diameter of the plastic pipe, and the outside diameter of the plastic pipe fit inside the boom arm holder. I cut a slot in it all the way from, I cut a 6-inch chunk, cut a slot in it from top to bottom. It works like
you made a sleeve.
I made a sleeve.
I want to make, you see that gizmo up in the ceiling up there? It's a mini boom arm.
I want one of those.
You know what I want to do? I want to make a ball bearing sleeve for that so that you can attach a light securely, but still turn it. Yeah. I have a concept in mind, right? It's a thing. I've got a buddy that my neighbor, James, 3D prints. He's Clow 42 over on YouTube. He's got a full tilt CNC mill and all of that in his garage over there. He can make just about anything. So we'll 3D print it to start with, proof the concept, and then he can mill it for us. I haven't asked him yet, so I'm just assuming he's going to say yes. But that's kind of the concept. So let's talk for a minute about why mod. Now, it's one thing to fix a piece of equipment,
right?
But the other concept is that we mod things for utility and usefulness.
Yeah, just to make them useful. I've got a great example on this one, but go ahead.
No, lay it on me. I want to hear it.
Okay, so most of you know I'm a MagMod guy. I think I've got almost every chunk of their equipment. They've taken plenty of money out of me, but that's neither here nor there. And I have their mag box, and the reason I have that mag box is that
which for those that don't know, it's an Octabox.
Yes, about a 25 inch or so.
That has a receiver on the back that takes
your A200s or speed lights on the magnets that you just thunk and they're there. But what's really cool about the mag box is that they have a diffusion panel, focus diffuser on the front, and it doesn't really focus. What it does, it acts like a grid, only it doesn't magnify.
More like a Fresnel.
It collects the light and shoots it out forward. So you gain about a stop or a stop and a half out of that thing. Yeah, it's really cool. The problem with it is, so this device, and I didn't bring it, wish I should have, will hold your two 8200. So now you have an 8400 basically in there, and you literally just stick them on there, and there's a little door that come over it, and you're done, and they stay. Now the problem with it is that it only takes that one diffuser. That's it. I mean, it's basically a holder for your lights, but and that diffuser it's magnet. It just sticks on there. Yeah. It's all very svelte, but I got a lot of diffusers without. You
used svelte in a sentence, and I'm impressed.
Well, thank you.
Shout out to our friend Corey.
Yeah, hi Corey.
In Colorado for the new PPI mugs. Yep. Super cool. Really appreciate that. Enjoying them today.
So I got a lot of modifiers that don't have magnets on them.
Yep.
And they have the. What's that mount?
Bowens S mount.
The Bowens mount on the back of them. So I'm thinking, how come I can't just get a Bowens
S mount MagMod? Bam!
Yeah. So I did. I had to take a hacksaw. Well, I didn't do a hacksaw. I don't do that, but I do a grinder, but whatever. I cut it off. I went to Home Depot. I got a bunch of those, I can't pronounce that word, those really, really strong magnets. And I glued some of them around the ring. And guess what now? I have a ring that I can snap onto my Magmod thing, which holds my 280-200. This is the important part.
And now you can use the other modifiers.
And now I can use the Bowens Mount mod.
That's pretty slick.
Yeah. So that was my
You
story.
should have brought some of that because I'm all about.
I should have brought that. Yeah.
You should see my pile of demonstration stuff is pretty complete today, and Larry brought coffee. So I guess I can't complain because you brought my coffee.
Yeah. Whoops.
Jen says, do you remember the show MacGyver? And actually, Jen, we just finished watching all of the MacGyver series in my home with my sons. It's something we love vintage television. So we watched all of MacGyver. He was definitely king of the mod back in the day.
He was practically a superhero for his mod skills, which is true.
Yeah. So, this is the ultimate MacGyver tool. This was in your notes, and this is right out of my camera bag. This is just, this is a Gerber.
But a Leatherman
The
clone.
concept of Leatherman tool. It's a multi-tool. This lives in my camera bag. This has saved me so many times.
You don't know how many
the
of those
screwdrivers, the pliers, just having this.
I buy those just to put in places where I
where you have problems.
Yeah, exactly.
I was years ago, I was photographing a chess tournament event, and one of my light stands stripped out, and I couldn't get it to come down. Pliers, man.
Yeah.
Pliers sorted that out pretty quick. Let's do a couple of things here. We've got that done, that done. Oh yeah, let's talk about this. This is a super easy mod. So this is the time, if you've been just kind of listening, I want you to stop and pay attention for a minute. So I use gels. I use CTO gels, CTB gels for color correction, but I use creative gels. I like my blues and reds, and I love to. It's an easy way. Like, I don't know if you've ever thrown a gelled light against the Thunder Gray paper. It's a phenomenal effect. I really like it,
especially if you have different color.
But changing gels on the fly in the studio or on location, it's just kind of a fussy process, right? So I did a thing with the hot glue gun and a few magnets and a couple of binder clips. So here's the slide, what that looks like. I found these magnets that you see in the picture on the left next to the tip of the hot glue gun. I trimmed it so it fit neatly underneath the rim of this is just a standard 7-inch reflector. And I hot glued it on the side, and then I hot glued a binder clip. So the top picture of the binder clip, I opened that bottom lip up to let the roundness of the magnet fit in there better. My goal was to have the top, the flat part of the binder clip flush with the rim of the modifier of the reflector. And with that, attaching the gel is just click with your magnet.
Squeeze it.
It's totally not fussy. So I'm going to demonstrate that.
Yeah,
here.
cool.
All right. So here is my reflector. I'm just going to hold it up. It's normally not being held, of course. It's normally on a light. Right? Have you ever been able to change a gel that fast in front of a client?
Not a 7-inch one.
Not one of these, right? No, so Magmod does this really well with their mag gels. Yeah. I've got a fleet of those. But this is just dynamite. Like, I didn't invent this. I saw this.
No, that's actually
on the interwebs.
But that's just like, it's kind of the Magmod philosophy, right?
It really is. So
but it's cool.
It just takes that.
Yeah.
It just makes it easy. So this goes right along with that utility thing, right?
Yep.
I want to increase the utility and usefulness. I want to make some things just stupid easy so they don't take away from my time with my client, right?
Well, and usefulness, right? So you just bought a brand new cart.
Oh, I did.
Yeah. So you had a cart and it was pretty good, but you just bought a brand new one and you just made it more useful.
I did. So I'm a big fan of the rock and roller carts. If you haven't played with those yet, take a minute and look them up. They're like an 8-in-1 cart. They can be like a mini forklift. They do all kinds of stuff. I use them in their horizontal fashion. This R12 cart that I just got has great big tires on it. They act like a pneumatic, like an air-filled tire, but they are foam filled, so there's never a flat. And they roll over door jams. They roll over those transitions between flooring types, tile to carpet that you find in commercial spaces. They roll over gravel and rocks in parking lots. So I can literally pull into a parking lot, drop my pickup truck load of equipment onto this R12 rock and roller cart and wheel it into the lobby of my client's space, up through their elevator, down through their corridors, and load into their site in one fell swoop. There's no equipment being dropped or bobbled. If you've ever, let's just zoom into the camera here. Have you ever, I didn't hit the button. There we go. Have you ever carried like 5 light stands under your arm? Mm-hmm. That is not a happy process.
No. And,
right?
And neither is the process. If we have any manufacturers out there listening today, do not put a 2-inch wheel
on a cart.
On a cart.
That's just a name.
Who
right?
did? Yeah. Who
so
did
my first cart, I had the R2 Mini cart from Rock and Roll, and I have used it for years. And it's great if you're just working around within like a building. But it didn't work. I mean, I've used it for 7 years, but it's not what this big cart is. So here's the thing. I'm a sandbagger. Right?
A sandbagger.
No, listen. If you're doing commercial work and you're raising lights, if you're raising lights on stands, where does your liability land?
Yeah. Well,
somebody kicks your stand,
that light
they fall
down.
Or your light falls.
Yeah.
Your job is in jeopardy.
Yep.
Your reputation's in jeopardy, and your finances are in jeopardy if somebody gets hurt. You know, I'm going to have a 600 watt second light fall on somebody's head, crush their skull. No, thank you. So I'm a sandbagger. I
sandbagged the one in my garage the other day.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just
good practice,
it's
right?
No-brainer, yeah.
So I buy the empty sandbags. I buy them from Amazon. There's no reason to spend big money on sandbags. You can buy cheap sandbags. I duct tape around the bottoms to reinforce the bottoms, and I fill them with BBs.
He's going heavyweight.
Well, here's the thing. If you go with lighter objects, you have to make them really bulky to get any kind of weight in them. My BB filled sandbags are narrow and easy to pack, take up very little space, and they're good and heavy. And so that's the thing with sandbags, right?
Well, let me throw one more at you.
Okay.
So let's say you're going on location and you take your sandbags.
Yeah.
Right. Or you want to because
you should. Hey?
Well, because reasons you're outside, wind's blowing, yada yada. Right. But you don't want to fly and pay the extra money for the weight of the bag and the sun and the shot and all that stuff. So what I do is I have sand in mine, but I put the sand inside of a plastic Ziploc bag before I put it in the pouch.
So you can just pull it out.
So I pull it out. I take the empty sandbag with me. Yep. Guess what there is in almost every city in America?
Water bottles.
Water bottles full of water. Mm-hmm. And I put 2 or 3 of those things on each side.
Every conference room I ever work in, there's water bottles for days.
So that's just a tip. If you want to fly, that's one of my mods, my hacks is I just take an empty sandbag with me. I don't always use it, but I'm really, really glad when I have to have one. So I got it.
So one of the things that comes with moving sandbags is
moving sand.
well, not just that, but let's say I load my cart up. The sandbags are going to go on top of stuff, and they're always just kind of sliding off as you're rolling. So you mentioned that I modded my cart, and I did. Here's that slide. I added these 5/16" hooks. There's a cap lock nut on one end, the nylock. On the outside, it's a rounded. It's smooth, and it won't come off because it's the nylock, right? And on the inside, there's another nut to lock the two together, right? Mm-hmm. And of course I used washers because I'm a washers guy, distribute the load, that kind of thing. But this allows me to simply hang the sandbags on the end of my cart, and now I never have to worry about them falling off while the cart's in motion. Yep. They kind of slough off. If you've moved sandbags on any kind of roller cart, they just kind of slough off, right? So that's my cart mod. Like that's not a complicated thing.
That thing's awesome.
I did that last night. My wife said, dinner be ready in about 5 minutes. I came out here. I'm like, got them together. I'm going to use this. I have to move my whole setup after this today. I have to move it over to. That
cart is awesome. So the other one he had looked similar to this one, but this one has a top that's like a tabletop. It's stellar.
So the tabletop is actually at bar height. So when I get where I'm going and we unload the cart, this is now my work surface for my tethering. And sometimes we'll use it for our makeup kit if the space doesn't have tables in it. Most of the time there's tables there, but we bring a makeup and hair touch-up kit with us to all of our work. You'll see it tomorrow if you're coming to our event. By the way, we're having an event tomorrow. If you weren't on at the beginning, we're having an event tomorrow. Let's find that real quick, right? Because we want a pre-con promo.
Boom.
Come on, give me a pre-con promo.
Pre-con meet and greet. Saturday, 3/13 from 1 to 4 p.m.
Yeah. So that's exciting. We've got a bunch more stuff we want to talk about, and we're running out of time.
Well, I do want to. I want to just bring up one more thing.
Yep.
On the cart idea, I have a wagon. I don't have a cart, but I've been using that wagon for a long time, and it's just like Bob said. I carry all my stuff in. Again, I travel a lot, so I carry all my stuff in Pelican bags, gear, and they stack neatly into that deal, and I can throw a couple light stands in there, and I'm on my way. To that end, though, I always label everything I take. So it looks kind of ridiculous because I have I just take, you guys get those free address labels, right? You know the ones.
No, I know exactly where you're going with this.
You just snip off that little picture of whatever it is and label. Oh, you're going to do that. Yeah. And label your stuff, because if you ever go to a convention or you go to, and it's inadvertent or whatever, Bob's got another idea here to mark it with colored tape. Put those labels on there. I guarantee you, if they wander off, you can say, no, that one's mine or whatever. So
last year's convention, I loaned a light stand to the Westcott girl.
It's gone.
No, I got it back.
Oh, because it had yellow tape.
I said, hey, who saw the light stand with the yellow tape at the bottom? Oh, Phil says, oh, yeah, I grabbed that. Awesome. I had to bail out of last year's convention because my wife crashed
her bike,
had a bad concussion, and I left early because bad things were happening, but she's fine now, so I was good. But you can look around my studio. My rolling stands have the yellow strip at the bottom. This does a couple of things for me. This is yellow electrical tape. I have to tell you the backstory on this, and I know we're short on time. We're going to go long today. Are you okay with that?
I'm good.
I'm good with that too. What? They never spell my name right. I don't understand why. Laquita. Laquueta.
Well, Laquita, if you wouldn't subscribe to stuff with a fake name.
We're just going to call you Linda because Laquita's too hard to say.
No, we aren't.
So my very first business that I started was back in the early 80s. And it was
roaring 20s.
No, it was back in the 80s,
okay.
And we did sound systems, major sound systems. We did 150 voice choirs. We did bar bands. We did State Board of Education back in Massachusetts. We were high schoolers. We were in business, and all of our equipment was spray painted RKS with Tasket yellow spray paint.
Nice.
And all these days later, because there's been many of them, I love the yellow because it harkens back to my first business and those times with my friend Dan Smith. And but the other thing is when these legs are spread out, it increases the visibility of this. So anyway, this is yellow electrical tape. You could use spray paint if you want to. Is it something that somebody could remove? Certainly. This is not so much theft deterrent as it is identifying that's my gear over there.
Although I did try to, so I sold an 8362 that I had. I'm off the 8362s. I wanted something else, right? So I sold a couple of them, and I tried to remove those stupid labels.
Oh,
God, it was like chiseling cement. Now, if you want them to come off, that's the way they are. If you don't want them to come off, you put them in a bag and they'll fall off.
They get wet.
Yeah.
They're done.
They're done. Yeah. So there's that.
That's awesome. Let's jump through a couple more things here. This is a really easy one.
Oh, I got it. It's just, go ahead.
Now, this is just straps. Like straps come with everything. Some straps are absolute junk. Some straps are pretty good. These have metal clips on them. These came with my head extensions for my 8600s. But straps, man, most people just remove them, right?
Right.
So what I do is I have a small collection of these straps. And what I've done is said, okay, that's fine. There's that strap. And that's good when I need a long one. Sometimes I just need a really short one. So the simple answer is I cut one.
And made it.
And made a really short one.
Nice.
Okay, they're adjustable to some extent. But when you adjust them, you get all the bulk and the extra strap. You know what? So when I want to hang my 8600 from the lowest knob on the light stand.
As a weight.
This acts as a weight. It keeps the weight of the strobe down low on the stand.
And that's the head unit, by the way, with a battery in it.
This is too far. This drags on the floor.
Right.
I made one that works just exactly how I need it because I have a drawer full of those stupid straps because I never throw them away.
Right.
Right. And then the extension head's way up on the light stand or on the boom arm or whatever. So you know what? So it's like, okay, pliers, the hacksaw, the grinder, the tape, the PVC cement, the scissors, whatever it is. Like these are just simple things that I've done to improve the utilitarianness. Is that a word? Utilitarianness? Who's my grammar mar?
No, that's a word.
It's a word. It's a Bobism, I guess. So anyway, that's the kind of thing.
I don't know we can use it in Scrabble, but we'll use it anyway.
Jen says, I guess we all need to pick a different color of tape then. Honestly, I've never run into anybody else that was using the same color of tape in the same way that I do.
I've got yellow.
You can use yellow. Yeah, maybe you'll do like spiral stripes or something.
Oh, no, same thing. So,
same thing?
Yeah, get them all.
Then I'll just grab your stuff along with mine. That's perfect. I have no problem with that.
Let's do, I want to do one more little itty bitty. This is kind of a tip. It's not really a mod, although this is how a long time ago when I was starting with off-camera flash, and a lot of people get all freaked out about it. And we talked about the freak show, and I go out to my deck and I practice it, right? Whatever.
Freak show. You missed the episode with the freak show.
Yeah.
The freak show is his mannequin head.
Yeah. So what I did a long time ago was I actually took, those little guns you can get that shoot tags onto clothes.
Yeah.
So I took a card.
I have one somewhere in a box.
Yeah, I know. Yep. Isn't it weird, the stuff you...
I had a retail store.
Yeah. I took a card and I went out with my modifier, whatever modifier it was, and my light, whatever light it was. And in my practice, I dialed in, kind of, okay, it's noon, whatever time it is. And I wrote down my settings, what my camera was at, blah, blah, blah. So when I went out, this has been a while, when I go out with a senior, for example, or a wedding couple, and it's a lights over here, and I'm going, okay, it's right there. It's kind of bright out here, blah, blah, blah. I go to my card and look up what I should be shooting.
Those base settings. And then you massage it from there.
Yeah. And it's not it's hanging on my Octobox. I mean, it looks like Minnie Pearl's hat. It's got stuff hanging on it, but I didn't care. And that's just a quick thing that you can do to that's a mod that you can do your mods to kind of get in tune with. I'm out here.
Matter, you could tag it with your name, and you could do all kinds of stuff. You could tag it with your business card.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So anyway, just a tip: if you're learning and you want to do that, and once you do it enough, you're like, okay, I got this. It's XYZ. But when you're starting out and you don't have that time, that mod saves you time for your client, which is who you're trying to impress, please. Yeah. For green merits.
I get it, man.
Okay.
That's good stuff. Let's have this brief conversation, and then we're going to move to the convention promo, and then we're going to do the send-up.
All right.
All right. That's our order. We're going to be done in about 3 minutes, folks, if you're watching the clock. This is your floor right now.
It is. ppfidaho.com. Come and join us. Listen, we're a friendly bunch. We don't bite. We'll answer your questions. Pretty simple, $99 a year or
$9.95 a month
with a 10-month or 12-month commitment.
12-month commitment.
So ppfidaho.com. There is a join us button underneath the header. Just click on that, and bam, you are there.
So if you really want a deal on the membership,
this is a screaming deal.
This is a screaming deal, right? Yeah. So our big thing every year is our annual convention. We talked a lot about it today. We had Bryan on. Again, he's our jury chair. He's going to speak on this marketing riddle. I'm really curious to see what he has to say about that.
I want to listen to it too.
Marketing is kind of like nails on the chalkboard for me.
Yeah, I don't like it.
And I think it is for a lot of it. I love the one-on-one stuff, but just sitting behind my computer and plotting my marketing and bleh. You know who's really good at that is Sam. I think he's got an edge on that. I think he earnestly enjoys it.
I do too, and it shows. I mean, he gets and you know what? If you can market like that, a good personality like that, and can market like that, you're going to get the clients.
Yeah, you're going to. It's just going to work.
Yeah.
So our hybrid convention, it is our Better Together. This is our Better Together year. This is us coming back together and being together and building community. I have had lunch in the last week. I've had lunch with 3 different photographers, and I also had another photographer come to my studio the other night. Midweek, his radio trigger failed him. He had 3 more jobs booked. He says, "Hey man, do you happen to have one of these X1 triggers I could borrow?" Of course I do.
Yeah.
Because I keep a spare, right? So Cy comes over. We spent way too long talking about stuff. But that is the essence of Better Together. That is the essence of community. So our hybrid convention is April 9th, 10th, and 11th. We are hosting that here at the Silverstone Plaza at Overland and Eagle, just off the I-84 freeway there.
Still have a couple of days left to get your hotel room, whatever it's called. So make sure you go out on the website again and click on the events tab at the top, and then just click on the tab. Don't hit any of the drop downs. And then as soon as you click on that, that information for the hotel, all the information for convention is right there.
All the speakers, the judges, everything is there.
And then
the other thing that they could do, if you didn't catch last week's live episode on Facebook, you can catch that on replay. And we talked about everything, and there were lots of great questions asked in the comments. So if you're curious about convention, you've got questions about it. That's kind of your FAQ right there. That's your FAQ. Go there and give it a watch. And that's just a great resource for that. So once again, I'm going to hit that slide. Right, Better Together Convention. You can come in person and spend the weekend with us there. We've got Saturday morning. We're going to start the day with a continental breakfast social that's open to photographers in the Treasure Valley or anywhere. If you want to come and start the day with us on that first hour, that's free. You can come meet us and check it out. And if you want to stay for the weekend, you can register right there. Oh, the way we got talking about this right now was our membership.
Right.
Convention this year, if you are a PPI or PPA member, you can come to our state's convention this year for $195.
Yep.
If you are neither, or if you want to become a PPI member, you can do so for $245.
So for $50 more, you can join our organization for a year. By the way, that
and
$50
attend convention.
And attend convention. It's 50. So it's $245, right?
Yep.
$245 for a year's membership. And it gets you into convention.
Yeah.
So
it's half price membership for your first year if you buy it at convention.
And this is first year, right?
Yep. Good stuff, folks.
Yep.
I would love to know if you have any questions coming up. If you've got a favorite mod, I want to know about it.
Yeah, drop them.
Snap some cell phone pictures, text it to me, email it to me.
Drop them in the comments.
Oh, yeah. Instagram it to me.
Yeah.
Facebook Messenger to me. I lost a conversation this week. I saw it pop up as a notification, and then I couldn't figure out what platform it came through, and it was so frustrating.
Oh, dude, that's one of my, not a pet peeve. It's one of the things that because
it's a real first world problem.
There are so many ways to reach people now. You really need an aggregator of some sort just to pull it all together.
Yeah.
I used aggregator in a sentence. I hope
you did. What was the first word you used this morning? Svelte.
Svelte.
Oh, so good. So good. This is your weekly vocabulary lesson with Larry Fry. Next week, we're going to talk about work hurts. This was what we had scheduled for last week.
Yep.
It's still a good topic. We're just going to talk about how work is a 4-letter word, right?
Yeah.
And this plays a little bit on the if you love what you do concept. So join us next week, next Friday for our live. I'm planning, we've got a whole series of really cool stuff planned for
our Trello board looks really good.
It's really well populated right now.
Yep.
We've got our lives planned all the way up to convention, and then I was telling my wife we need to find something to do after convention so that I can have that on the books and have it ready to go. And she's like, "Well, wouldn't you do a convention recap?"
Exactly, post convention. Yeah.
Right. And with that palm to the forehead, I'm going to say goodbye. Thanks for watching. Thanks for participating in your comments today. Thanks for being with us, Bryan. And thanks for being here, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I hope you enjoyed the coffee, and good day, everyone. Have a good weekend.
See you later.
Bye.